Hi everyone, welcome to day 36. 36, because I do everything in 3 digits. I've got that whole Y2K fear going on. Today ended up being, honestly, kind of rough before I even got near a microphone today. But before I go back there again, first let me talk t-shirt for a moment to relate some fun. This is actually a street song. Well, it's a train station connection line in Japan. I took my partner there in May of 2024. It was a bucket list item for me, and I got to chat with them tonight, and I like putting on some remembrance of that trip. Okay, I am going to have to face up to it. I woke up today to what appeared to be a pretty major data corruption problem involving a large amount of organizational and project work I have been compiling over the past month and a half. For a while this morning, it actually, I genuinely thought I might lose a huge amount of material, and most of the first half of the day became trying to recover data, salvage continuity, rebuild enough structure that I could function through the weekend. Obviously, in the weekend, I'll have more time to try to put stuff back together again. So I did salvage about 90% of the data. It's not been put back together yet. But by the time I actually got into rehearsal work later in the day, I was already pretty mentally fried. I also was supposed to do a morning session on Brighter, and I've been looking forward to that. And so the entire first half of the day just crumbled. And I basically, I walked away from it, and I tried to find some general relief. So this afternoon session today was Be Prepared. My color today is purple, which is sort of a secondary session. The idea is just keep it simple, explore why singing away from the computer consistently produces freer resonance, easier openness, and stronger bass response. It's honestly crazy. I sing Be Prepared in my bed or in the car, and I'm just sitting there going, be prepared. But it dances, it comes out. I sit in front of the microphones, and I don't know what's going on. So, with everything in the morning, I come in with this, more frustration, but I know it's there. I know I can produce it. But I am trying to keep myself in check between, can I access the low notes, or how do I keep myself in the open state that I am when I'm in the car? Why does formal rehearsal and observation cause it to start to seize up? It's a different problem. Both takes 159 and 160 today reinforce pretty much the same thing. Musicality is there. I am putting everything, at least for deciding which note I'm going to hit, together correctly. I can feel it, but the resonance was there right at the beginning and slowly chipped away by the midpoint, and the lower end resonance gradually began fading out again. And with the day I'd been having, I was done. I just closed up after 2 takes, and I needed to get away from it. away from recording setup and away from the pressure and the supervision, it really does come out. I just, as I think I said yesterday, it's like being the person who can only turn invisible when no one's looking. But not being able to clearly begin to know where to look for this is really what got under my skin today. You know, I always try to look at things as they really are versus how I feel. With frustration, I walked away going, I can't do this in front of a microphone. But I've been on stage. I know what it's like as an actor to hit the edge of the stage, and the second you walk on stage, there's no shutting it down. You have to give everything that you have. So instead of thinking it's impossible, I can't do it, I am trying to identify what the right conditions are and farm them out to when I'm actually recording these things. Anyway, sometime in the middle of the afternoon, around 2 o'clock, the Bass Gang released their first video from May the Bass Be With You, Volume 5. It's a cover of Misty Mountains. It's shot in the desert. It's shot all over the place, but primarily the desert. It really ended up being the kind of diversion that I needed today. So while I'm on that topic, one of the things that I have talked about in the past, I've been sort of distracted in the past few weeks, is that I do keep a pretty close eye on a lot of different a cappella groups. And it's not just because I'm an a cappella fan, but because listening to different groups and how they approach things, especially arrangement or tone or where the bass shows up, listening to people's different vocal color and when they can actually change how their voices sound, staging, storytelling, there's just so much. It feeds into how I am thinking about my development and my long-term desire to be doing a cappella. And I'm not gonna make it a secret that I really pay attention to how someone goes from Metallica to Five Voices. I literally sit there going, what did he do there from moment to moment to still create that image? But on the topic of a cappella groups, I realized recently that there's a group that has pretty much moved into my stack of ones that I really keep an eye on. And their name is Rabbit Cat. They're actually based out of Japan. And I came across them on YouTube because they did the Daft Punk medley by Pentatonics. And they just did it flawlessly. 3 men, 2 women. So one of the men was basically doing Mitch's part. But what really caught my attention to lock into them beyond them impressing me with great sound and great technique, they have these shorts on their page. And what they do is they build these incredibly dense, extended chords, and usually ones with a bit of dissonance to them. And then all together as one unit, they slide in a smooth transition to resolve. And sometimes they actually have a second chord before the third resolution. And it's just, it's satisfying to hear that level of precision and coordination. And I am sure that most a cappella groups that are really pushing things out there can do the same. But seeing the demonstration of it is just absolutely stunning. it's a level of harmonic control that feeds back into how I'm trying to think about arrangement and phrasing and everything else. I've got all the information for the Bass Gang's video, Rabbit Cat and Bass Gang's YouTube main pages. And I did also link in 2 of those Rabbit Cat chord progressions they do. They are amazing. The chord progressions are shorts. Go check them out. But going back to the rest of the day, I realized that I was completely mentally overloaded enough that trying to do anything else after Be Prepared wasn't gonna produce anything healthy or productive. So I ended the session early, definitely earlier than I might have. I'll be honest, it wasn't a great day, which, to be fair, has been actually fairly rare. So, I mean, it was due. Obviously, I'm going to try to do some meditation tonight, or maybe just listen to some groups I like, and just try to be back in a good headspace, because I know I've still got some reconstruction work to do tomorrow. But, every day does not need to be triumph and narrative. Some days they are messy. Some days are informative. Some days are frustrating, mentally heavy. Today was definitely one of those days. Still, okay. Even with all of that, I think, trying to see if there's a realization today. I think the realization that's still building underneath everything is that more and more of these issues are starting to feel environmental and structural rather than what I can and can't do. And that doesn't magically solve the problem, and it doesn't necessarily make me feel better today, but it does change the kind of problem that it really is. So with that, I think tonight it's shorter is probably better. I'm gonna show you the entire trip, and not every day is gonna be showered in roses. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the episodes. I'm gonna try to screw my head back on, but I will be back regardless tomorrow for day 37. Thanks again. Later.